This is video number 3, pretty sure. I wanted to just be really excited because as of earlier today, we've had a good few increase in views, so I'm really excited. And a couple of my friends have been watching, and they've been telling me, they're happy that I'm doing this and that, it'll be good for me as well as other people, hopefully, and that they're just really proud of it. And it makes me really happy. So thank you if you're trying to support me or if you think what I'm doing is a good thing, and I really appreciate it. I mean, it honestly is kind of hard to sit here and talk to, a camera and be like, okay, I've got issues, but it's not a terrible situation. So I posted on Facebook, today's topic is social anxiety. So social anxiety is defined as an intense fear of certain social situations, especially situations that are unfamiliar or in which you feel like you'll be watched and evaluated. These are pretty typical, especially with people with anxiety. I think this is one of the most common anxiety forms, just because, most people feel uncomfortable in social situations where they're not in control. Some triggers that I found were meeting new people, talking with important people of authority, being called on in class, which I am guilty of all the time, and I feel terrible all the time about it. It's so awkward. I'm not an idiot, but it's like as soon as they call on me, my brain goes blank and I can't do much anything else. So speaking up in a meeting, attending parties and social gatherings. Also guilty of that one too. But, hence the shirt that says sleep all night, nap all day, and party never down here. And there's a happy little sloth on here. I get bored and I draw on shirts, but nope, that's not important. Some symptoms of this would be self-consciousness, intense worry, shortness of breath, nausea, shaking, and dizziness. Those are the typical ones. And then we've also got some behavioral ones that are staying quiet to avoid being the center of attention, need to bring a buddy along wherever you go, which I feel terrible because my best friend here, I do that to her all the time. And I'm always like, do you want to go to Taco Bell with me? Or do you want to go with me to whatever? And it's to the point where she doesn't even ask me if I'm asking her to go. She just assumes that she's going to go with me, and that's what it is. And, she's going to marry me next year, so it worked out pretty well. She's basically just going to go with me everywhere. She's going to be my buddy. We're going to hang out. It's going to be great. And then the last one that came up was drinking before social situations to kind of take away from your fears. That one isn't one that I'm typically part of. I'm not a big drinker because I have a big thing for control. And then just the fact that it's just a really big thing to have control when you have anxiety. So it's just not one of those things that I'm personally a fan of, but I know other people probably do use drinking to cope. And hopefully you're of age if you're drinking to cope. I'm not going to make any assumptions, but, fingers crossed that you're of age. So some tips that I found, while I was preparing for this video, I was looking up the different kind of definitions and tips and all sorts of stuff like that. And I realized social anxiety is such a big thing. And I think it is talked about way more than any other form of anxiety. But I still wanted to touch on it because it is something that hinders a lot of people. So some of the things that I came across as far as tips of social situations would be challenge your negative thoughts. So for instance, say that you are going to a party and you think that you look fat or you look terrible or no one's gonna like you or anything like that. The typical negative thoughts that they just pour out and you're gonna be like, oh, my makeup's terrible, everybody's gonna notice, or blah 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 blah. Just really silly things that get in your head and they kind of stop you from doing anything else. Challenge them. Push past them and be like, no, I'm beautiful. I am too hot for every person that's out there. I'm a catch. tell yourself that. Tell yourself how amazing you are, because it's true. And, something I've actually taken to doing is write, if you have a mirror, a full-length mirror, even a small one, write little, like, positive things that you need to remind yourself about. Like, say, man, my butt looks great. Or, my glasses look good today. I don't know. Just something cool, something fun, something that's definitely going to make you happy and smile and laugh. Because laughter really is the best medicine, especially in social anxiety situations. The next one that the article I read said was learn to control your breathing. This is a typically thought about tip as far as anxiety goes, and learning to control your breathing is a huge thing, especially because it will keep you from having a panic or anxiety attack. It is super helpful. Listening to music that calms you down will help you with your controlling your breath. Thinking about being in a different spot will help you with that sort of thing. There are loads of things that can keep you controlling your breath. I've seen little animations on Tumblr that'll kind of get your mind elsewhere so that you can focus on your breathing. I've also seen, like, the five thing challenge or something like that. I can't remember what it is exactly, but basically it gets your mind elsewhere and it helps you just control your breathing so that you've calmed yourself down. You're not hyperventilating, which causes more issues, obviously. But it is a pretty typical thing for people with social anxiety, especially if they've been triggered, that they struggle with controlling their breathing. So just remember that. Remember to control your breathing. And the next one is face your fears. I personally not great about it. I will, if it's like a social situation where I'm forced to face my fears, like public speaking, which kind of has more to do with like performance than social anxiety, although it is a little bit of both. If it's that sort of thing, I'm graded, so I have to like face my fears in a way, like face my fears. But I mean, it's helpful because it forces you to go ahead and do something you don't want to do. Whereas going to a party, I can always be like, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not going to go, which I do all the time. And it's terrible. And it literally is just because of the fact that I don't want to be in a situation where I don't know people. I don't know what they're going to do or what they're going to say. And I don't know if they're going to like me. So, I mean, I'm a different kind of person. That's obviously been made evident. If I have to go to a situation where I don't know anyone, I'm not going to do it. That's just how I am. I always have to at least know one person. Wow, that is a weird shadow I'm getting because of my glasses. Please do not judge the quality of this video. I'm just now starting out, and so like I'm working with light and working with, the times that I have because I am a student and I do have other things that I'm doing. But, we'll get there. We'll make it happen. I'll be a high-class YouTuber pretty soon. It's complete bull. But, it's a nice thought. So the next tip is build better relationships. I've become pretty fortunate as far as building better relationships. I have a certain support group here, and, well, here where I live, that it's very, very easy for me to find ways to get out of a social anxiety situation. For instance, as I said, my best friend here, I take her everywhere with me. She knows she can typically pick up on when I'm freaking out, and she'll kind of draw me away and be like, okay, we can leave now. And that's super helpful. She also suffers from anxiety, and it's helpful for me because I can actually be like, okay, I know you're feeling the same way I do. I don't have to worry as much. Or like my other best friend, who he will not be named, but he's still wonderful and amazing and absolutely like one of my favorite people in the world. The most social situations he puts me in are one-on-one coffee, like friend dates that we go on, and it's amazing and we love it, and it's moderately social because we're out in public and we're having a good time, but it's just me and him. It's one-on-one. It's the way that I like to do things, especially. But you are having those relationships that definitely are lifelong. It's easy to do that right now, especially being like in secondary education. It's very easy to build those relationships that are lifelong, that are going to stick with you forever. I mean, I came from a situation where that wasn't the case. I had terrible relationships that dropped me at the, well, for lack of a better phrase, dropped me at the drop of a hat. And that's the complete opposite of what I have now. And my anxiety is way more under control than it was before. So building better relationships, building that support group is the biggest thing for you. It's going to do the most help. It's going to actually probably aid you in so many ways that you'll be like, all right, I don't have to worry anymore. Like, this is so much easier now. But yeah, so it's just about finding those people who you can depend on, and that makes all the difference. And the last one is change your lifestyle. I'm not really sure what the article discussed as far as that. I didn't go that far into that one because when I read change your lifestyle, I got a little offended and I was like, well, how can you change your social anxiety lifestyle? It just seems silly. But now that I think about it, you also should consider having anxiety being a mental disorder means that you should take care of your body the same way you should take care of your mind. You definitely should, exercise, eat right, drink lots of water, like all those sorts of things will help incredibly, especially because of the stress relief that it gives you. If you're in a social situation very frequently and you need a way to get that extra stress out, go work out, go for a walk, go for a hike, go, I don't know, run on the treadmill or swim, anything in the world that will give you some exercise will be amazing for you. It will get your mind on something else because you'll be so. Hello again, everyone. I realized that my video got cut off yesterday, and so this is my continuation of that video, and it's not much more, so don't worry. I'm not going to talk your ear off much longer. I think what I was going with at the end of that video was something along the lines of just like focus on making yourself healthy, body and mind. You want to be able to have yourself in a place where you know that you can go and work out the little bit of stress that you've got from this social anxiety situation. I definitely think that makes all the difference, and I think that you should definitely push as much as you can to get yourself out there. And I know it's hard to do sometimes. Like, a lot of the time you'll be like, oh, there's that person at the gym that is going to look at me, they're going to think I'm a crazy person, or they're going to think that I'm hideous or whatever. But you can work out in your room, you can work out anywhere, and it will help so much. It's everything you need. I wanted to mention that, good golly. Oh, so I wanted to mention that the song of the day would be, some people are going to laugh at me for saying this is the the song of the day, but this is the song of the day. It's by Jon Bellion, and the song is Eyes to the Sky. I really like this song. I've been kind of obsessed with him lately, and I just think he's a really talented artist, but he also, he talks about things that we all struggle about, and, that's the thing that I love about him. Like, he's not one of those people who's going to stop talking about it just because it's not popular. But, if anything, if you want to listen to more of his stuff, he does have free albums, so definitely check those out. I also wanted to mention, if you guys have any questions for me, let me know. I would love to answer anything in the comments. I'm also going to post the song of the day that goes on every video in the comments as well. And I wanted to mention as well, because it did come to my attention recently that the previous videos were a little bit more serious and a little more sad. I want you to know that I'm fine. I'm not, struggling in any kind of way, and if I do struggle, I do have my support system, as I've said. I'm not super open about this sort of stuff just because, well, I mean, I'm very open if someone asks me about it. If no one asks me about it, I'm not going to tell you, yeah, hey, let me write anxiety on my forehead or depression on my forehead. That's not really, something that everyone needs to know about me, because I think I do a good job at putting it away in its own box, which is necessary in everyday life. I mean, I can't freak out over every little thing. Sometimes I can't control it, but a lot of the time, I can put it in a box and think about it later. And yeah, I've got it in the back of my head all the time. I'm thinking about, whoa, this is why I did this and this is why I did that. But at the same time, I don't have to stress as much just because I have it under control. I do therapy and I do have medication. I'm 100% in a good place, especially now that I know what it is. I talk to people. I use those tips that I gave you earlier. Anyway, if you need any help at all, or if you have any recommendations for what you want me to talk about next, leave a message in the comments. I would read all of them. Just let me know. Anyway, have a good night.